I'm hired to make rich people nervous. Tonight it takes no effort. Santa Ana wines muscle the palms on Los Feliz Boulevard. Heat presses on a house built to pretend weather is someone else's problem. Victor Hale, the money half of a mid-budget studio about to go public, invites 6 people to rehearse success. I'm here to audit his security before the prospectus lands. At 8:11 p.m., the lights stutter, the inverter coughs, and the smart home brain does what expensive things do when they panic. It locks everything. Gates, sliders, terrace doors sealed. The system announces in a buttery voice, "Failover engaged." The app on my phone shows red across the board. 5 minutes later, I find Victor on the library rug, eyes on the coffered ceiling, pulse refusing to join the conversation. No blood, no drama, just stillness in a room that smells like leather and old money. "Call 911, I tell the house manager, Leela. She taps a panel that pretends it has bars. "No cell," she says. The landline hums a dial tone and won't place. The intercom loops a polite error. We become a closed system with a body in it. I gather them in the great room because open sightlines calm liars. Introductions because names are handles. Elena Hale, actress wife, robe-belted, cheekbones like decisions. Jace, her 20-something son with a phone that loves him back. Rowan Pierce, Victor's co-founder, haircut billing at $500 an hour. Leela, house manager with a clipboard that could run a city. Marco, smart home contractor in a branded polo, dust on his cuffs. Avery Hale, cousin and counsel, legal pad hugged to her ribs. "Power will cycle," Marco says, aiming his words at me. "The lockout clears when the hub sees the gateway." "It won't," I say. "The gateway's on the same dead circuit." Rowan checks his watch like time owes him interest. "We have to be in Century City at 10, he says to the room and the universe. "You'll be here," I answer, and let the sentence wear the badge I don't show anymore. Elena drifts to the mantel and back. "You're saying Victor." She doesn't make herself say the word, smart. "I'm saying nobody leaves until LAFD opens those doors," I tell them. "And until I understand who was where when the lights blinked." "Why you?" Avery asks, finally looking at me. The room waits. "Because Victor paid me to break his house before strangers did," I say. "We can start with that." Outside, the wind rubs the city the wrong way. Inside, the HVAC pushes air that tastes like heat and chlorine from the lap pool below. The house creaks like a stage learning its lines. "I want a lawyer," Jace says, which is funny in a room with 2. "You have 1, Elena says, without warmth. I take a whiteboard marker from Leela's cart and draw the house bones. Library, theater, spa, office, roof deck, panic room, doors that matter. At 8:05, Leela says, efficient, Mr. Hale was in the library with tea. At 8:07, the massage therapist checked in Elena to the spa suite. At 8:09, Jace went live from the pool terrace. At 8:10, Mr. Pierce took a call in the theater. At 8:11, the lights dipped. At 8:12, I was in the pantry. Marco was on the roof checking a repeater. Miss Hale, Avery, was in the office with the notarization packet. She offers it like comfort. "It isn't, it's choreography." "Cameras?" I ask. "Online to local," Marco says. "But the hub's clock drifts when it's offline." "How much drift?" I ask. He winces. 11 minutes on last test. Good in the way a fire alarm is honest, loud and late. I write drift, 11 in block letters. Every head tracks the number like a cat following a string. "We'll verify alibis against a clock that wasn't sure who it was," I say, "while we wait for the city to pick us." Avery clears her throat. "This is obscene," she says. "Victor deserves truth," I say. "He deserves truth." The house voice tries to help. "Please remain calm." The wind rattles a slider that can't open. 6 people look at me like I'm the only door that will. I start where clocks fail least, people. Elena first. Spa suite smells like eucalyptus and a contract. The tablet shows massage, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, timer frozen at 48:12 when power dipped. "Deep tissue," she says, robe cinched, jaw harder than grief. Victor and I were fine. Her manicure is immaculate. 1 nail tip is chlorined white. "Pool steam," she says before I ask. The therapist, Left at 8, Leela offers. That's neat, too neat, Jace by the pool. Phone on a tripod, ring light dead, wet footprints fossilized by hot wind. I was live, he says, and taps an offline buffer. A sunset him talking merch, then snow digital, not weather. Timestamp reads 8:02:808. I killed it when lights glitched. His slides are pristine, but his sneaker edges bloom faint bleach. Pool splash, he tries. The lap lane below smells like a hotel laundry. Rowan in the theater, the only room that loves darkness. Singapore, he says, pointing at a paused call. The AV rack shows local time 8:10 at freeze. The hub drift says 7:59. We were finalizing the deck, he adds, voice polished. He keeps a hand on his temple like a man holding in answers he plans to sell later. Motive, control, post-IPO, Victor could outvote him. Leela in the pantry, inventory tablet open to purchases, chlorine tablets rush. Pool guy canceled. Mr. Hale wanted laps at dawn. Her clipboard has Victor's schedule sketched in a hand I trust more than most printers. I handled doors, catering, cars. She doesn't say alibis. She doesn't have to. Her key ring is heavy, one fob chipped. Marco on the roof hatch carrying the branded tool bag. Repeater acted up in last week's wind, he says. Dust on cuffs, microscopic glass freckling his sleeve like he argued with a skylight. Door sensor tripped at 7:50. I cleared it. He doesn't like looking at the canyon edge. He likes invoices paid on time. Avery in Victor's office. Folders, a notary seal, her legal pad lined with trust trigger, midnight and prospectus appendix D. We were signing the durable directive tonight, she says. In case he traveled. Her pen has blue-black ink that bleeds on cotton. Her motive is grammar. The trust funds execute if unmarried at death. Company control unresolved. Married, Elena. Control, Rowan. Executor, Avery. I walk the route a lazy killer would take. Library right arrow, office right arrow, pantry right arrow, theater right arrow, pool right arrow, spa right arrow, roof. The house whispers failover engaged again, like it wants a second chance. Cameras give me ghosts. The drifted feed shows Marco on the roof 8 o'clock, then Elena entering spa 8:03, Jace going live 8:04, Rowan in the theater 8:05, Leela in pantry 8:06, Avery in office 8:07. Shift each forward 11 and the shape changes. Some overlap, some doors kiss close. On the library carpet I find a broken cufflink near the baseboard, brushed steel, V engraved. Victor's? No, his shirt tonight takes buttons. I pocket it, pool deck, faint ash in the grate by the fire table, though no one lit it in heat like this. Ash and chlorine love to travel where lies do. I line them again in the great room and let silence count them in. Here's the game, I say. Your alibis run on a clock that lied. I will pull the local server, the badge readers, and the roof sensor log. You will not move rooms unless I say move. Rowan laughs once, a sound that bills. And if we refuse, then Lapt will sort it with fewer pleases, I say. Your choice of audience. Elena folds her arms. You're implying one of us, I'm implying all of you, I say. Because everyone had something to win at 8:11. Wind drums the sliders, the house sighs. In the distance, sirens negotiate hills. I write 3 words on the whiteboard, chlorine, ash, drift. Pick your favorite, I tell them. It'll pick you back. I pull the local server like a tooth. Marco protests. I hand him the power strip and he becomes useful. House clock was last synced at 6:19, I say. After failover it free ran. We're 11 minutes slow. All your alibis are wearing the wrong watch. Badge reader log foyer. Avery, office in 8:02, real 8:13. Elena, spa in 8:03, real 8:14. Rowan theater in 8:05, real 8:16. Jace pool out 8:04, real 8:15. Layla pantry in 8:06, real 8:17. Marco roof hatch open 7:50, real 8:01. Close 8:09, real 8:20. Victor's library door shows open 8 o'clock, real 8:11, and no close. That's the minute the room stopped arguing back. Which puts all of you in play, I say. But one of you moved toward the library at the wrong time. I map paths. Pantry has a service hall straight to the library 20 paces. Spa goes the long way. Theater skirts the koi court. Roof drops via the library landing if you ignore signs. Keys, I tell Leela. She passes the ring. One fob is chipped. Its rubber shows a bleach bloom like it kissed pool water. The pantry cam drifted, shows her passing the service hall 8:06, reel 8:17, 2 minutes after the library's last open. I was pulling towels, she says, chin up. Her clipboard lists towels, pool, 8:15 in neat print. It's almost too neat. The pool camera buffer fills the blank. Jace's live dies 8:08, reel 8:19. In the freeze frame on his phone, a reflection floats in the sliding glass. Someone crossing the service hall, shoulders square, hair up, carrying white, towels or paper. The pixel grain chooses not to pick sides. Elena, I say, how long between check-in and hands-on? She meets my eyes. He left the building at 8. Therapist, Leela adds quickly. Outside vendor. So the spa timer is a clock without a massage, I say. Good to know. Rowan taps the theater screen. The Singapore deck, paused at 8:10 hub, which is 8:21 reel, I finish. Leaves you 10 vulnerable minutes before that. Your alibi lives where Wi-Fi does. Marco's roof story limps. The hatch sensor close at 8:09, reel 8:20 lands after the library open. His sleeves wear glass speck I don't like. He shrugs. Skylight dust, he says. Wind. Avery hugs her legal pad until the cardboard bows. I was with documents, she says, as if paper can swear for her. The notary app on her phone shows a draft signature started 8:12 hub, reel 8:23, and abandoned. Battery warning, she adds. Her ink stains say otherwise. Chlorine lingers in the hall like a memory that won't shower off. I check the pool mechanical room. A tablet wrapper in the trash, torn 8-pack carton on the shelf, one slot empty, one extra empty. Someone dosed in a hurry and miscounted. The floor is dry, the smell is not. Back in the library, I crouch at Victor's wrist. No petechiae, no theatrics. On the tea tray, a ceramic honey dipper lies sticky clean, wiped. The cup's rim holds a crescent lipstick ghost that isn't Alina's shade tonight. Leela's, Avery's. I bag the cup. I pocket the dipper swab. Victor diabetic, I ask. Borderline, Avery says. Managed. Managed by who? Silence chooses not to help. The HVAC coughs. Santa Ana pushes. The house AI offers a lullaby. Door integrity maintained. It thinks it's reassuring us. It is not. I pull the door contact log for the service hall. A micro open at 8:07 hub, reel 8:18. 3 seconds, then shut. Enough for a hand. Enough for a towel. Enough for a person who knows where cameras blink. Leela, I say, walk me through your 8:15 towels. Her jaw sets. Pool closet, 3 bath sheets. I cut through service. I did not go into the library. Who asked for towels? I ask. Mr. Hale, she says. On intercom. I check the intercom buffer. The last call routed from the library to pantry at 8:05 hub, reel 8:16. Victor's voice. The file is corrupted static in a tone like a dial. Marco winces. Failover 8 audio, he offers. Convenient. Suspicion walks the room and tries chairs. It likes Leela for access. It likes Marco for timing. It likes Avery for paper. It likes Alina for lipstick and chlorine. It likes Jace for the stupid bravery of live stream alibis. It likes Rowan for everything money does to men like him. Here's what happens next, I say. We match the server's drift to each camera by their flicker frames. We pin real time to your fake time. And we start with pantry right arrow service right arrow library. Jace swallows. Do you think Leela? I think someone used her corridor, I say. Whether that someone was Leela is what the frames will say. Leela looks at me like I've taken a side I didn't mean to. I kept this house running when storms killed the hill, she says. I don't kill people. Then the pixels will love you, I say. On the whiteboard I write a 4th word, honey. Wind drums. Sirens grow. Somewhere in the ductwork a panel clicks like the house is remembering a sound. I start where smell lingers. The lap pool room is a sauna with ambition. Skimmer basket holds 2 half-dissolved tabs, one wedged in crooked glove marks in the chalk. On the tile lip, A crescent bleach splash dried to sugar. Someone dosed sloppy and fast. Jace's sneakers sit by a teak bench, soles up like a plea. Along the foxing, a fine chlorine bloom whistles white. Pool spray, he says. I leaned over for chat engagement. His livestream buffer shows him at the rail, sure, but the angle stutters out for 9 seconds. Phone picks up sky and roofline, not him. In the window reflection, a person crosses the service hall carrying a white bundle, towels or paper. The fire table on the terrace is stone cold, yet the grate holds a petting zoo of ash that didn't come from tonight's wind. Under the grate, a char curl of bond paper, blue-black ink blushed to gray, edges in lattice. I lift with tweezers. The ghost of a header blooms when the light hits. Schedule A, trust attachments. Someone burned a draft. Not all of it made it to theater. Inside, the library gives back little by little. I find a second shard of steel under the sofa, mates the broken cufflink I pocketed. V engraved, not Victor's. Jace wears braided bands. Rowan wears a watch, no French cuffs. Marco Polo, Leela, rolled sleeves. Elena, in the spa closet, a velvet tray of evening options, one slot empty, a matching cufflink asleep in the back. V for Victor, yes, but Elena uses his accessories when stylists play with power. She can't remember if she wore them tonight. The robe hides the decision. Did you go to the library before spa? I ask. I told you, she starts, then stops. I passed the hall. Victor asked for tea at 8. I said Leela would handle it. The tea tray shows honey swiped clean and a porcelain rim wearing a lipstick crescent, not her current shade. Elena's today is coral. The ghost on the cup is wine red. Avery's, or Leela's off shift. In the kitchen, Leela's towel cart shows 3 bath sheets, 2 damp, 1 pristine. The pantry bin holds a crumpled bar towel that smells like bleach and honey. I wiped a spill, she says. Where? She points at the library doorway. He dropped the dipper. Rowan materializes, eyes on the whiteboard like it might name him or save him. If this is poison, we need a medic, he says, practical as a billable hour. We do, I agree. And we need to know who set the table. I show him the ash curl. His mouth hardens. I didn't draft trust schedules, he says. Avery did. Avery doesn't blink. Victor asked me to destroy older attachments. Standard hygiene pre-IPO. She says hygiene while chlorine eats the house. Where? I ask. Terrace, she says. Less risk than a shredder with the power bouncing. Jace flinches. That was you by the fire, he blurts, then regrets blurting. I thought, never mind. You thought it was your mother, Elena says, voice glass. Why? Because you were mad, he says. Because he said prenup revisions were off. Because you said you'd burn the hole. Enough, she snaps, then exhales. I said it, I didn't do it. I run a luminol swab over the honey dipper, the cup handle, the tray edge. Nothing I can read without a lab, but the pattern tells a story. Someone wipes selectively. Not panic, practice. Back to the pool. The buffer's 9-second drop bugs me. I scrub frame by frame. Before the sky takes over, the lens catches a flash of metal at the corner of Jace's jacket, something small clipped inside the cuff, a cufflink. No, a GoPro screw, decorative, influencer chic. It glints like guilt and means nothing except he loves hardware. But the reflection behind him does more. The white bundle splits, 2 towels, not paper. A hand tucks something dark between them like a book you shouldn't read. The towels, I tell Leela. You carried 3, 2 got used. The third, spa, she says. Mrs. Hale's suite. I check the spa hamper. 2 bath sheets rolled. 1 unused folded under the bench. In its fold, a tiny flake of char hugs the terry. Someone ferried ash upstairs and changed their mind. Elena watches me find it and doesn't look away. I didn't touch his tea, she says before I ask. I said words I regret. I didn't put anything in a cup. Who did? I ask. Silence tries on all their faces and finds a fit on Avery first, then slides to Leela. Jace mistakes it for alignment and points, too eager. That eagerness costs him. I lift his sneaker, show him the bleach-tied line. I rinse the deck, he says. The filter was loud. Filters hum, I say. They don't burn paper. Wind claws the sliders. The house intones, useless. Emergency response inbound. Good, I say to the ceiling. Bring them witnesses. I write 2 new words on the board, lipstick, ash. Then I draw an arrow back to drift. Here's the pivot, I tell them. The only camera that doesn't lie is the projector in the theater. Its lamp flicker syncs to the grid. We match your movements to its pulse. Rowan smiles without humor. And you think that puts us where? I think it puts 2 of you in the service hall within 60 seconds of the library door, I say. One with towels, one with Schedule A on fire. And which am I? Avery asks. The one who knows what midnight does to a trust, I say. And what 811 gives you time to stage. Jace swallows audible. Elena's jaw sets. Leela's keys don't jingle. That's discipline. Marco stares at his cuff like glass can be a defense. Sirens grow louder. In my pocket, the cufflink warms like a vote I haven't counted yet. Paramedics stage at the gate. LAFD pounds the keypad and swears at Santa Ana. We stay sealed. The house repeats door integrity maintained. It sounds proud. It shouldn't. I park them in the theater because the projector lamp is my metronome. Its ballast flickers at 60 Hz, a truth the drift can't edit. I roll back Rowan's paused Singapore call and watch the ripple crawl. At Reel 8:19:821, the screen stutters twice. Grid sag during the failover. In those 2 minutes, the aisle camera, also drifting, shows 2 silhouettes crossing the back. One carrying white towels, another hugging a folder. One turns toward the service hall. Freeze, I say. On the frame, the folder carrier has a distinctive elbow flare, Avery's habit when she tucks a legal pad. The towel carrier is shorter, hair in a high knot. Leela. Avery doesn't blink. Leela does once, like swallowing heat. Service was my route, Leela says. 3 towels to spa. I didn't enter the library. Your keys brushed the jam, I say, and left bleach bloom on the rubber. The hall contact shows a 3-second kiss. You were there. The question is why? Avery crosses one ankle over the other like court. Folder was Schedule A drafts, she says. Victor told me to destroy the old attachments. I used the terrace fire. That's your ash. Legal hygiene. Then why is Char nested in a clean towel under the spa bench, I ask. That's not hygiene, that's staging. Jace can't help himself. She wanted Mom to take the fall, he blurts. Elena exhales through her nose. He wanted me to, she corrects without looking at him. It's convenient. Rowan leans forward. None of this answers how Victor died, he says, selling reason. If you're doing poison and honey, say it. Not poison, I say. Insulin or beta blocker with tea would leave more noise. Victor's cup reads clean on quick swabs, but the honey dipper was wiped and the cup bears a lipstick that isn't Elena's. 2 hands at the tray. Leela lifts her chin. I poured the water. I did not touch the honey. I wiped the spill on the floor. And who carried the tray? I ask. Avery did, Leela says. She said Victor wanted to sign while it was hot. Avery's smile goes a pellet. He asked me to bring the documents. I set them on the desk. I did not serve tea. Then who left the lip print? I ask. Avery shrugs minutely. Ask his wife. I hold up the broken cufflink halves. Victor wore buttons. These aren't his. The engraving matches his monogram, yes, but this set lives in the spa closet, not his shirt. The break is fresh. Where's the mate? Elena's eyes flick to the closet, then back. Stylist brought options earlier, she says. I never put them on. The projector's flicker gives me my cut. On the exact sag frame, the theater door opens a sliver. Rowan's silhouette peels off toward the foyer, not the service hall. Alibi half holds. Bathroom, he says, preemptive. I can show you the fixtures. Later, I say, show me your sleeves. He does, clean pressed. No bleach, no ash. But his watch band shows a faint scratch that tastes like roof glass when I touch it to Marco's sleeve. They sing to each other. Why do you two smell like the roof? I ask. Marco spreads his hands. Because I was on it, he says. Sensor, repeater, wind. Rowan's voice stays smooth. Because I followed Marco up there earlier to ask if the deck camera was live. He smiles. It wasn't. I turn the whiteboard and write midnight in block caps. The trust triggers if certain signatures exist before 12 o'clock a.m. if Victor dies after signatures and before IPO lock control shifts. Who benefits depends on status at midnight. Married/unmarried. Control resolved/unresolved. Avery's legal pad has those exact phrases underlined. You're suggesting I staged a clock, she says. With what wishful thinking? With my drill, I say. Victor invited me tonight to run a panic rehearsal. He sent an email with my scenarios, my sequence, my failover prompts. Only I didn't send him that outline. Someone spoofed my message, cut my logo off an old report and rooted it from a throwaway. Someone who saw how I run drills. Eyes go to Leela and Marco, the only two who have watched me work here. Marco flinches. Leela doesn't. Marco, I say, show me your toolbox. He does, jaw set. Inside, crimpers, splices, a roll of black tape, and a blister pack missing one NFC sticker. The kind you can program to ghost a badge when a door reader hiccups. On the roof hatch frame, I find a fresh adhesive ghost oval where a sticker lived. You faked hatch close, I say. Reader thought you came down at 8:09 when you were still topside. That puts you free when the library opened. Marco's face goes tight. I faked nothing, he says. I slapped a patch so I wouldn't get chewed for a phantom alarm. He meets my eyes, small and honest. I fix stupid rich doors. I don't kill people. The projector flickers one last time as the inverter settles. I use the beat. Avery, I say, your notary app shows a started durable directive at 8:23 real. If Victor signed tonight, your executor role hardens before midnight. If he dies after, the marriage clause protects Alina. If he dies before and the directive is incomplete, you control a transitional window where Rowan needs you to pin down Appendix D. That's motive with a calendar. She doesn't blink. You think I can't count hours, she says. I advised him not to sign until counsel reviewed the deck changes. Which counsel? I ask. You, no answer. Sirens kiss the drive. The gate hydraulics whine. LAFD breaks the side door like a gentleman. Radios bloom. Last thing, I say, as boots enter the foyer. I hold up the ash curl of Schedule A. When you burn paper, you burn order. Somebody wanted midnight to arrive with a certain shape. Rowan gestures toward the hall, and helpfulness puts its mask back on. Then help the paramedics, he says. This theater isn't a courtroom. I look at the flicker still humming over the screen. Tonight, I say, it is. I circle Avery and Marco on the board, underline drift twice, and draw an arrow to door log spoof. Then smaller, I write what the lamp already told me. 2 in service hall at 8:19, 8:21. 1 with towels, 1 with paper, only 1 with a pen. Paramedics work the library. LAFD clears air like they can ventilate lies. Lap takes a corner and grows paperwork. I keep the 6 in the theater. The projector lamp ticks steady, my true clock. Someone ran my drill tonight, I say. Copied my subject lines, my prompts, my failover cues. That email didn't come from me. It came from a spoof that only 2 people could stage without tripping alerts. The house manager who sees my schedules, Leela, and the contractor who touches readers, Marco. Eyes swing. I let them. Except the drill used legal milestones I don't write, I add, turning to Avery. It baked in midnight triggers, durable directive language, Appendix D references. My outlines never say executor. Yours do. Avery's mouth thinks about a smile and cancels. You think I emailed myself, she says. Cute. I think you drafted the script, I say, and someone operational planted the props. I hold up the NFC sticker blister. Marco ghosted the roof hatch close. He moved in system when he wasn't. That frees a corridor, but a door isn't motive. A calendar is. I lift the ash curl of Schedule A. You burned attachments that contradicted your midnight math. Rowan bristles. And where does that put me? On the roof with glass on your cuff, I say. You checked the deck camera so it wouldn't see Bayside sliders during lockout. You needed deniability, not blood. Alina's voice drops a degree. How did Victor die? Likely arrhythmia, accelerated, I say. Tea reads clean at this speed. But the honey dipper was wiped. The cup has a lipstick, not Alina's. You don't need poison if you plan delay, lock the house, choke responders, let a heart tip over. The tactic is in my drill, simulate comms loss, create a soft prison, Force everyone to have an alibi. LAPD's detective watches without interrupting. Good, let the room confess to itself. I roll the projector to the sag window again. Two figures cross to service. Leela towels, Avery folder. What happens in that hallway? Leela stares at the screen like it's weather. I cut through, she says. I heard Victor on intercom asking for towels. Your buffer shows the call, but the file is corrupted, I say. Marco, he shrugs small. Failover eats audio. Or someone inserted a tone to flatten it, I say. That someone had access to the rack and incentive to keep the pantry call from sounding like Avery imitating Victor. She can do his cadence when she reads his notes. She's practiced. Avery's Josettes. Prove a voice. I'll prove paper, I say, because paper is less shy. Your notary app starts a directive at 8:23 real. Then you carry Schedule A to the terrace and burn it. Ash rides a towel to spa. A flake nests there. Your pen bleeds blue-black. The towel's char kisses that ink. The cup carries your lip. And your legal pad, I flip 2 pages, shows lockout rehearsal, 8:10-8:12 in the margin. You wrote my drill into your evening. Rowan sees where the line lands. Avery, he says, gentle like a bill that arrives with flowers, tell him he's wrong. She exhales. Victor wanted to stall the directive, she says, like she's dictating. He was tired. He was reckless. I needed certainty before the IPO. If he signed after midnight, all hell breaks loose. Alina contests. Rowan splinters control. The trust bleeds fees. So you moved midnight, I say. You didn't change clocks. You changed access. You staged a lock-in and a paper fire and a pantry call to keep hands busy while a heart failed on schedule. Alina steps in, ice and heat. Did you put anything in his tea? Avery meets her. No, she says. I'm a lawyer, not a poisoner. I moved help out of reach. The projector hums its benediction. LAPD's detective checks with EMS. A medic mouths arrhythmia, delayed response. No tidy toxin, just engineered lateness. I turn to Marco. You're not free, I say. You ghosted a hatch and patched a tone. You'll own tampering, but this wasn't your calendar. He sags like a man who knows plea offers taste better than trials. She said rehearsal, he whispers. She said the investor walkthrough needed to feel real. And Leela, I ask. Leela squares. I carried towels. I didn't touch the cup. You carried char wrapped in terry to make Alina smell like guilt, I say. But your route puts you before the library, not in it. You're the legs, not the pen. Jace finds a new courage. So who killed him? He demands, like answers owe him followers. A system did, I say. Designed by Avery, executed with Marco's tricks, camouflaged by Leela's routines, and made plausible by Rowan's need to keep cameras blind. A death by administration. Delay, distract, deny. Avery lifts her chin. You can't arrest a calendar, she says. No, I say, as Lap steps to either side of her. But you can arrest the author. Lap moves the circle to the great room. Wind drums the sliders. The house keeps bragging door integrity maintained like a guilty alibi. Here's the timeline, I say, loud enough for the mics and the masks. Your hub ran 11 minutes slow. The only true clock is the projector lamp at 60 Hz. On its sag frames, reel 8:19-8:21, 2 figures cross to service. Leela with towels, Avery with a folder. The library last opened at reel 8:11 and never closed. Victor was already down. I set the small proofs in a row on Victor's marble like a courtroom built for phones. Broken cufflink halves, not Victor's shirt. Spa tray set. Ash curl of Schedule A burned on the terrace. A char flake nested in a clean spa towel. Honey dipper swab wiped to theater clean. Cup with wine red lip not matching Alina's coral. NFC sticker blister from Marco's bag. Ghost oval on the roof hatch frame. Hatch close faked at hub 8:09. Door contact kiss in the service hall 3 seconds at hub 8:07, reel 8:18. Notary app start on Avery's phone at hub 8:12, reel 8:23. Durable directive begun then aborted. Not poison, I finish. Delay. A lock-in rehearsed off a spoofed drill. Responders slowed, cameras misled, paper hygiene set on fire. A death managed by administration. The detective nods to EMS. A medic gives the phrase that closes a shape. Fatal arrhythmia, delayed response. Rowan tries a pivot. We all followed instructions, he says. No one intended. Intent lives in calendar math, I cut in. Midnight makes your trust change owners. Avery wrote the scene to arrive at midnight with the right status. Directive half-started, marriage vulnerable, control unsettled. She didn't need a toxin, she needed time. Avery squares her shoulders like a closing argument. He was reckless, she says. I prevented chaos. You curated it, I answer. Lap takes her wrists. She doesn't fight. Lawyers don't win against physics. Tampering, obstruction, conspiracy, paper words with metal endings. Marco pales when they turn to him. You'll answer for ghosting a hatch and flattening a call tone, the detective says. Then you'll decide how much you want to help. Leela breathes like a swimmer at the wall. I carried towels, she says, steady. I didn't pour tea. You ferried Ash to a place the camera liked, I say. You'll have to explain why. She nods once, as if rehearsal always had an act II. Jace looks smaller under the ring light ghost. I tried to make Mom look bad, he mutters, almost to himself. Elena doesn't look at him. Not yet. Outside, LAFD unlatches the gate. The house finally shuts up. Integrity is someone else's job again. Officers begin the slow opening of rooms. Air moves like it remembers windows. Elena touches the marble, then lets go. He died in that room believing we were in the spa, she says, because the house said so. The house said what people told it to, I answer. Like any system. Rowan brushes at a glass fleck on his cuff and misses. He will spend months explaining that spec to people who know the price of cameras. On my whiteboard, I circle the last word, drift, then draw a line to midnight and write beneath it. The door that OPENED was time. Cops start the slow exodus, statements, vests, evidence tubs labeled with tape. The wind shifts. Los Feliz remembers it's a neighborhood, not a set. I hand the detective the line of objects in bags and the only mercy I have. Not everyone lied for the same reason, I say. Some lied out of fear, some out of habit. One lied like a calendar. The smart lock clicks. A door opens that isn't electronic. We step through it and the house learns silence.